But then when she found out I was doing drag, she called me and she was like, you have to stop this.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I think you probably should have.
God.
I think. Hey guys, you already know what it is. Before we get into it, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Surfshark VPN. Surfshark is a VPN provider which allows you to easily surf the web with security and privacy. But the coolest thing to me, and one of the reasons I like to use VPN services, is it allows you to change your location to anywhere in the world with just a couple clicks. That way you're not bound by your location's internet restrictions. For example, the Netflix in the UK might have some different shows that you don't have in the US and vice versa. But by going to surfshark.com/Maddy, you can download Surfshark, and with just a couple clicks you can change your location to the UK, and that way you can access their version of Netflix. Or another good example is whenever you try to go watch a certain YouTube video and then you get that message that says this video is not available in your country. Same thing, just a couple clicks and now all of a sudden you're in Germany and this video is now available to you. There are no borders online thanks to Surfshark. And all the while, your data is being protected. And unlike many other VPN providers, they do not track and sell your data. Way before I ever partnered with Surfshark, I'd been using VPN providers, and I would encourage everyone to be doing the same. And I know for a lot of people that aren't as tech savvy, VPNs sound kind of scary and complicated, but I promise you it's super simple. It is literally just a couple taps. And with so many VPNs out there, why not choose one that has tens of thousands of positive reviews and one that supports some of your favorite creators like me? So try it for yourself by going to surfshark.com/Maddy to get started today with 4 extra months free. That's surfshark.com/Maddy. And now, onto the video. Hi guys, welcome back to Give It To Me Straight, a normal show for normal people. I'm your host, Maddy Morphosis, and joining me on the show today is the runner-up, one of the runner-ups of season 12, Miss Crystal Methyd.
It's me. You can say the runner-up. Yes, I think it's canon in the universe.
You think so?
Yes, only because when we did DragCon, they had us go in order of elimination, and I went last.
Oh.
So, I don't know. And Jada wasn't there, so I was honorary reigning.
Oh, you were the Coco to her, Alyssa. The honorary, what's the word for that? It's the alternate. You're the alternate.
Oh,
season
absolutely.
12 alternate. Yeah. Well, you look. I love that you went all out today with this look.
Thank you. My straightest look I could find.
Is it? There's so many bows going on. This is it's so much garment for such a small little set.
Yes, I wanted to kind of just take over and melt into the scenery.
And of course, I'm dressed in your little homage to the makeover challenge.
And I am so obsessed with it. You did a good job.
Thank you. I was telling you backstage, I normally don't give myself too many props, but I was so proud because I did this with no practice in just an hour.
And you got it all right. I love the lips, the eyebrows.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure the lips are probably a little smudged right now, but it's okay. Because that's my take on it. That's my.
It's a characterization.
Yeah, my little zest, little je ne sais quoi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But with that makeover challenge, obviously a lot of people in the fan base thinks that you should have won the makeup challenge. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that I should have won as well, but that's okay because it was the only thing I was going in thinking that I could do good at. So when it came, I was like, oh, whatever. I guess maybe I could have tried harder because I just felt confident, but I felt like me and my partner had a good connection, and our little makeoveries had to perform to a lip sync song on stage, and actually my girl Opal was so good.
Mm-hmm.
She was really good. She had confetti and everything that she pulled out of her pockets, which I also told her to throw off the stage because we didn't want it to get on the stage, and because RuPaul doesn't like to wait, so.
Yeah. With that makeover challenge, I feel like it's honestly better for your storyline and your character arc as a queen, being that you were robbed of that. I feel like being robbed of a makeover challenge and everyone just being like, she should have won, is better than yeah, she won, we knew. It's
absolutely.
It adds a little more spice to the story.
For sure. People fight over me about that, you know? So I'm okay with it. And I got one win in the end, but that was the makeover I really wanted. And now I don't even know what I'm going to do if I have to do makeover again. I'm like, I've set the bar high for myself.
Yeah. With your drag too, which we'll talk about in a little bit, is it's so eclectic. There isn't a specific brand to hone in on. So you do have so many options and ways you can go, but also it's hard to pinpoint of what is Crystal's drag. So,
well, I think specifically what I was thinking about is when they phrase it as family resemblance. So in my mind, I was just trying to think of other ways that people can be family without being twins or sisters.
You're going for storylines.
So I was going for like wives.
Like bridal, like 2 wives, or like sister wives?
Just lesbian
like
love.
Lesbian
that
love.
Can be a family.
Well, that's Daya's brand right now.
For sure.
That's our brand right now.
We love lesbians.
Yeah. Well, you did too. You were willing to fight for them.
Oh, I love lesbians. Lesbian rights forever.
Yeah, and if anyone has a problem with that. But like, what was more devastating for you though? Like losing the makeover challenge or forever having your brand tied to El Debarge?
Oh, see, I'm not upset about El Debarge at all.
No?
I didn't know anything about what was going on. Every time RuPaul was around, I was just nervous. I knew I needed to flip my little mullet and smile. But I'm so grateful. Like, is there anyone else that's had a theme song? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. Every time it cut to you, it's just like that light echo out, fade out of like Rhythm of the Night.
So I'm okay with it. They put money down on that, you know?
Yeah, they probably paid more for the rights to that song than they paid you for being on Drag Race.
Oh my gosh. I don't know about that. We'll see. I'll ask El Debarge.
Yeah, ask him. If Mr. Debarge could comment below, let us know. You don't get like tired though, like all like the connections or the El Debarge, the memes and everything that never at one. Like, was there even like a moment where you're just like, I kind of wish she didn't say that?
I think like maybe when it was all happening, it felt like, okay, like I get it. But now that time has gone by, I think I just love it. How sometimes my servers, like, they'll play it in the restaurant or something, you know. I like that there's something that's kind of always. I got recognized at the airport recently, and the lady that was checking my bag, she just goes, El Debarge. And then I was like, yeah. And she just started screaming. She didn't even know who I was.
She knew the connection between the El Debarge.
El Debarge.
Or she thought you were
I'm
El
Debarge. I'm not El Debarge. She just knew, you know, I'm the one that's El Debarge.
On all levels except physical.
I'm the one that's El Debarge, and I'm the one that was the bird.
With what you were saying about how you go to restaurants and servers are playing it for you, like, are they actually, or you just hear it at Chili's and you think it's for you?
Okay,
Is that just your
sometimes I'm
vanity
sure I
showing?
assume it's for me. But recently a server played it and then came out with shots. So I knew it was for me.
Did you order the shots? Okay,
I didn't order the shots, no.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
It was Touch Tunes. I put it on.
Touch Tunes. Like, as I mentioned, like your fashion, like, but just looking at us right now, these are 2 vastly different looks, but they're both things that, for the most part, have come from like from your mind. I feel like you have such a unique eye for fashion.
Unique, yes.
Yeah, with your fashion as eclectic as it is, like, where can you like trace back to like where your love of fashion came from, like the roots of it?
I'm assuming that my love of fashion comes from my mother, who is actually on social media, and you should go follow 70-Year-Old Diva right now on Instagram and TikTok because she's
70-Year-Old Diva.
70-Year-Old Diva. Me and my brother are no longer in the house. Both of our rooms are just fully closets of all her clothes, accessories, shoes, you know, like a display case of heels, like so much jewelry. So I think when I was little, I would just always, you know, I was a lock-key kid. And then I would just go into my mom's closet because at the time I was little, so I could fit into all her little like old mini skirts and things. So I just loved playing in the clothes. And then eventually, I, of course, got into the makeup, but that was a little bit harder to hide, you know, because sometimes that eyeliner doesn't want to come off and you're a kid and you don't really know how to get it all the way off. So,
well, luckily, like the years you were in high school was also like the emo era, so you had a little bit of a give right there. So
for sure.
You had a little leeway.
Except I wanted, you know, my little friend who lived a couple houses over, you know, I was trying to give me an emo transformation. We painted my nails black and eyeliner, and my mom made me take it off immediately. And then I would just have to put the eyeliner on the bus on the way to school.
It's such like a weirdly unique experience that we probably both had of where we were located in the country, because you're like southern Missouri, I'm northwest Arkansas, we're both up in the Ozark Mountains. So we went to these schools where like half the kids are wearing full camo and have dip in their mouth in class,
For sure.
and then sitting next to them is like with emo kids, because like there was like this small little like emo scene in like the area. Were you like an emo kid, or were you?
No, I was just a wannabe. I think I had like maybe 2 black shirts with skulls on it, and then maybe
That's pretty edgy.
Yeah,
You're hard.
but I don't think my mom really wanted me to have those kinds of things.
Oh, evil. Catholic.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Going years before Drag Race, and even before you started doing like wardrobes and costuming in college, you were doing like fashion vlogs on YouTube,
Oh,
and little
my
haul
God.
videos.
Yes.
Yeah, like when did I feel like tracing your life story back, it always felt like you had this yearning for like something more than Springfield.
For sure.
What was it about Springfield? You're like, there must be more than this provincial life. Like, what were you looking for?
I was just looking for people like me, I think. And so whenever I started, I had a little flat fashion vlog. And that's, I think, whenever I started that, it's very much like, RuPaul says to wear a suit if you want to be successful. I think I had very much that mindset. It was very like classic kind of vintage male silhouette of like button-ups and ties and suspenders, because I didn't really know any other way to go besides like this is how men dress. But I will say I would like walk around and like in the mall and people would ask me to like apply to work there. And
it's because you're the only guy in Springfield that had pants that fit.
For sure.
They're like,
then,
you are a fashion icon.
I worked at Sam's Club on the register. On my second day on register, I got promoted because I feel like it's because I just always like dress nice and would smile. And a girl sold a credit card for me and put my name on it, so they thought I was good at selling credit cards.
Oh, wow. Look at you.
Yes.
Good job.
Profiting off of the work of women.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, again.
Men. It doesn't matter how they're dressed up. They're just wolves in sheep clothing. You can't trust them.
But yeah, I can't believe the vlog. Yes, I used to do hauls and everything. But my mom is the one that gets all her things at garage sales and thrift stores. So I've always like loved doing that.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you had an interest in fashion, but as you were saying, the little vlog and the haul videos, you're kind of doing little dressy clothes and color blocking a little bit. And then we look at where you are today. So like, what is like the bridge between those gaps when your fashion started to get a little more like eclectic and a little different?
Well, when I started doing drag, I think it must have been like 2015 maybe. And I was mostly kind of just like denim shorts, spandex, like little black hot pants and like Dare t-shirts and like more just trying to be like a bad girl, I guess.
Your Daya era.
Yeah. But then, the thing I've always loved about drag is just going out for no reason, going to straight clubs, just walking the streets. And I just found that I got more attention when I looked insane,
Yeah, that's how that works.
So it was like, people would be like, oh, you look so good. Like that started not doing it for me. It started being like, what the like, what's going, like people not even being able to comprehend what was standing in front of them. So
you're like, I'm not here for vanity. I want to make a scene.
Yeah. So that's kind of when I got really crazy. And then the craziest part is that the crazier I looked, the more men wanted me.
Oh. So like this is like peak.
Oh yeah. If you want a man,
for.
Wear a quinceañera gown.
Like people are looking online, like they're not looking for some little country girl, like some Hawk Tuah looking girl. They're not even looking for like goth girls anymore. Like this, like full on.
A little cake topper.
What?
A cake topper.
Oh, like a topper for a cake.
Yeah. Not a top.
But not a top.
Yeah, but not.
But
I don't top
those,
cakes.
But you can top those cakes. Yeah. Update the Tinder bio and the Wikipedia page. But like as you're saying, like you're wanting to like make a scene and like really stand out. Like in Missouri, were you like that way whenever you were like in school too, or were you more like quiet and reserved?
No, I wanted to be under the radar. I didn't want anyone ever looking at me or seeing me because I was just a very femme child from like day one. So it was like, there was no hiding that I was gay, and everyone was calling me gay, even though I was like, I knew it, but I didn't want everyone to be right. Yeah. But then I think now, I like dressing as an artist, even out of drag. I like it when people know, like, oh, that's a creative person because I look crazy.
You wear berets.
And I will get stopped in TSA because they're going to see if I have drugs on me.
Yeah, or they think you're old Debarge.
Yes, I dress very holographic, I guess.
It's giving drug dealer again. Like this is how you look in the airport. They're like, that person's a little different and suspicious.
I could have so many things hidden in here.
You can and do. But as you mentioned, you're really into a lot of artistic pursuits. You were into fashion. You were in the band in high school, and you have a love of doodling, like some of your artwork here.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I print off smaller and stuff, but you can.
No,
you
yeah,
know what
I used to love having a little blog of
little doodles
my
from your
little
noodle
adventures. Yes.
Yeah. So what got you into like artistic pursuits in general? Was your family really artistic, or like what was?
I want to say it must have
beginning?
been my elementary school art teacher, Miss Fletcher. And I just loved the teachers that dress like with the vests that are all themed to the holidays and just like very teacher clothes, colorful. Loved her. And then just getting to create and do, that was always my favorite class. I think I must have just not been able to pay much attention in class. I need to do things with my hands.
Yeah.
So yeah, she just had a huge impact on me. Had a short little haircut. I don't know if she was a lesbian, but she gave me that kind of vibe that was like, it's okay to be a little different, you know?
I actually like my elementary music teacher. It was like whenever I was in kindergarten, first grade. The same thing where it's like a huge impact. It made me want to pursue like more artistic things. There was a period until like I graduated where I thought I was going to be like a elementary music teacher whenever I got older because of her coming into class, like the puppets, and have us doing egg shakers and boom whackers, and I was like, this is what I want to do.
Hey, and if I wasn't doing drag, I always said I would have probably wanted to be an art teacher.
You think so? I feel like your art is too bold for them. They're not ready for that. They need something more.
I know when to bring it back for the occasion, you know, but then think of all the fun projects I could get those kids to do.
But outside of your artistic pursuits, you were also into other things as well. You were an Eagle Scout. Is that something you chose to do, or is that something that your family's kind of trying to push you to do? Because you said you were a really like feminine child.
So we moved to Missouri when I was 5 from California. And so I think it was kind of just like being introduced to a new, you know, community. I didn't have a lot of friends. So going and being, you know, put into a little den of a bunch of boys your age, I think was like my dad being like, oh, you're going to have all these friends, which it was fun. And I was thankful I got to do it. Mostly because my dad was like very active in it. So he went on every camping trip and like was an adult leader for everything. So it was just fun to spend time with my dad. And then that was also, I think there was a lot of gay boys that turned out to be in my troop. None of us like knew we were gay at the time, but like later it came out that it was like, oh, you too? Oh, fun. So I think it was.
Well, they might have been intentional. They probably got the little boys that were a little more feminine, and they put them in like a little group together, a little troop together. And so you're just like, what a coincidence. But no, you were profiled. That's what happened there.
But I mean, I loved it. My dad made me become an Eagle Scout before I could get my driver's license.
Oh, that's interesting. Why? Just
because I had like started it and he wanted to have me commit and finish something. So I became an Eagle Scout when I was like 16 in a month or something.
What's the cutoff for that?
Oh, I think 16 is pretty young. I think
16 is young? Oh, I don't know how that works.
Maybe, I don't know.
I didn't do any
Not a lot of people make it.
It's pretty elite.
It's hard.
You
have to do a lot of things. You have to do a lot of merit badges. You have to plan a project for the community.
Oh.
And you have to.
That's why you started to get dusted.
No,
it was for the Eagle Scouts.
That would be funny. But yeah, you have to put so many hours into it. And
is there anything you took away from that experience that still applies now, or is that kind of just an in and out of your system?
I can tie knots. Okay. Sometimes I can probably start a fire.
Okay.
I mean, if I had a lighter.
Well, I think if most people have a lighter, they can start a fire.
No, but
is that what they're teaching you in the Scouts?
They taught us a bunch of stuff. I got a fish.
Oh.
Cleaned it out and ate it myself. You know.
So nothing you learned.
Shotguns.
Nothing you learned in the Scouts apply to you today. But if the world burns down.
If the world burns down, yes, and I have to go live in a forest, I could survive for maybe 4 days.
That's 3 more than most people. So 3 more than me.
And as long as I have like a tarp and some twine or something.
Okay, this is too many caveats. Yeah, like if I have a tarp, twine, shelter, food, water, I can make it. Well, I think most people can make it 4 days. But in school, like say you're really kind of heads down, very quiet. Like how are you treated by the other kids? Like what was your experience like in school?
I had a couple bullies in middle school, but I quickly got girls that protected me on my side. You know, I always had girlfriends, only ever girlfriends.
You went to the softball team, found the biggest girls you could find. You got shooters out here. And that's true even to this day. That's why you're friends with Daya.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love standing by her.
Yeah. You have what's the word? The term for that? It's like scary dog privilege. Yeah, the girls that have like big scary dogs, so they feel safer. Scary dog privilege. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. It's a TikTok thing.
I don't watch TikToks with animals.
Why?
I just find that I need to curate my feed to be the things that I want it to be. And if I watch a cute cat video, as cute as they are, then it's all going to be cats. And so I don't want my TikTok to be that.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. What is your feed?
My feed is very highly curated cringe.
Oh, okay.
I just
you
like
consume that all day?
Yes, I do. I don't know how. I'm very addicted. I have to have a timer on my phone so that it kicks me off, and even then I still go back. But yeah, I don't know. I just something about people being like just very authentic and not like trying to get anything from it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I like those videos that only have like 12 views. I can find like they show up for me.
Your feed is just like people being cringy or like really earnest small creators.
Yes.
I mean, I guess that's kind of wholesome, but that's all.
And then sometimes I don't follow them or like any of their stuff, so that way no one can find them.
They're yours. They're your little treasures.
Yes.
You just like write their username down on like a notepad, like a physical copy, so that way you can find it later, but no one else can.
I send it to myself.
Yeah, I feel like most people don't experience TikTok that way. It's very
like a woman who's a secretary at a school but doesn't have kids. I follow her.
What does she do?
She just talks about getting off work and going to happy hour.
I feel like
or there's this girl named Kim that works at Target. Kim, if you're watching this, I love it when you eat food in your car.
What? You're like, I will refuse to watch an animal video because I don't want to see that shit. But I want to watch Kim eat Taco Bell outside in the parking lot of Target.
So she works at Target, and so she like tries the stuff. She knows the price of everything,
which means you know the price of everything.
I love just people that have the information.
This is so oddly specific.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm like this.
I don't know. I mean, even like looking at you now, I feel like that's a weirder thing than everything else.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But it's also like I love finding those strange sounds that no one else is going to use.
Like the audio from people's videos?
Like audios, yeah.
But you don't use them either.
I do use some unhinged audios, yeah.
Okay.
You got to find them.
Yeah, I guess so. I think you're...
That's why I spend so much time on it. It's because I have to find the sounds so that I can use them on my own TikToks.
You have like a strategy for consuming content.
Mm-hmm.
You're stressing yourself out. You're like, I got to find a good sound that no one else is fine, but I can't show anyone else, but I also can't let them find it on their own.
Exactly. And if there's like occasions coming up, I start looking for that. Like I'm doing a tour with Jimbo soon, and I know he's going to be dressed up like a giant turd. So I've been saving lots of sounds with farts and poop.
As you do.
Mm-hmm.
Your feed, like, well, I mean, as a effect of that, I feel like half your feed is probably just like fart sounds now, right?
I did. So then after I got all the fart sounds that I could take, then I just started saying I was not interested in farts anymore.
You're like, I'm done with this. That's the old me.
Because you have to tell TikTok what you want.
Yeah, you have to like palate cleanse. So you're like, okay, we're over that. That's the old era. We're moving on. It's...
Oh, and I'm also really into watching this girl create dream jars with all ethically sourced crystals.
What's a dream jar?
It's a jar of water that she puts glitter in. But then she picks out all the stones to glue onto the top.
I feel like,
and they're like 15 minutes long. And it's very soothing to me.
Is that ethically sourced crystals? Like, is there unethically sourced crystals?
I'm assuming that there must be lots of controversy, but
you're not deep enough into the rabbit hole yet.
No.
You're just a surface level viewer. You're not researching. You're not looking stuff on Wikipedia. You're just like here for the content. And the moment it gets too much, I'm not interested in this. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
It's like kind of like when you listen to a song over and over again. It's like I'm like that with my TikTok users.
You're probably one of the only people that doesn't have their entire feed just taken over by like politics right now. So that's positive for you, I guess. It's just a bunch of fart videos. Well, formerly fart videos, and now people eating food in their car. Mm-hmm. Oh, happy for you. Love that for you.
Thank you.
You know, I'm not here to judge. I'm here to ask questions, get to know you a little better. Even if I don't understand it at all, but I'm happy for you. I love that journey. We're all on our own little journeys. And you seem very content with yours.
I love mine. I'm never getting rid of TikTok.
Being an adult has its high points, like you can eat ice cream for dinner anytime or stay up as late as you want. But it's not all fun. You also have to do your taxes, figure out what's for dinner every night, and make doctor's appointments. For that one, there's ZOCDOC, the healthcare app that makes adulting that much easier. ZOCDOC is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs, and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care to skincare, and much more. You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, who are located nearby, who are a good fit for any medical need you may have, and who are highly rated by verified patients. Plus, ZOCDOC appointments happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even book same-day appointments. I know for me personally, ZOCDOC is really amazing because I'm someone that finds scheduling doctor's appointments to be really stressful and kind of confusing because I never really did that growing up. But by using the app, I can just make a couple clicks and I could find any doctor for whatever I need, no matter where I am. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZOCDOC.com/straight to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZOCDOC.com/STRAIGHT. ZOCDOC.com/straight.
But you said in an interview before that you didn't come out to your parents until you were in like your early 20s or so. Like, how did they take that? Because obviously they seemed very supportive of you in your life up to that point. Were they really supportive of you whenever you came out?
Whenever I decided to come out, it was because I'm 5 years. Oh, sorry, I was 22. I'm 5 years older than my younger brother, so he was 16. And they found out that he was being sexually active.
Oh.
And so then they were like, oh my God, panic. We never had the sex talk with either of them. So then they had this, they planned a whole day. It was like Memorial Day, a Monday where everyone had off. Because I think my mom worked at a bank at the time. And then, just a whole day sitting, listening to sex advice and stories, from my parents. And so it was kind of like they
gave you a seminar.
They gave me a lot of information about their life, about their own experiences, and I was like, they're being very open with me. And so I was like, I guess I should just come out right now because what else is going to happen? So we had the talk. You know, they ask if we have any questions. I give the floor to my brother. I'm like, you got anything to say? And he's like, no. And I'm like, they asked me if I have anything to say, and I was like, I could say something. And I think the wordage I used was, I'm like super gay.
You eased them into it.
My dad, I think he goes, I kind of thought. And then my mom was like, you did? And she freaked out, but then it all worked out.
It wasn't too bad.
But then when she found out I was doing drugs, she called me and she was like, you have to stop this.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I think you probably should have.
God.
I think she was probably right about that. We probably shouldn't have let that happen.
Okay, this was the first time I went out in public. Before this, I'd only ever been seen on Periscope. Do you remember? Periscope. It was like the live that Twitter owned. It's like you would go live. Okay. Well, I would go live on Periscope.
Was it like the OG like Twitch or something? Or
kind of, I suppose so. And it would like show your location and everything. But this, I saw Raven, Laganja, and Gia Gunn at our Pride.
Oh, wow.
So I went in person.
Yeah. That's like that dare shirt you were talking about earlier.
Yes, that's basically all I wore.
I have that exact same shirt, and I think I was actually wearing that shirt the first time we ever met.
I couldn't believe that.
I think I was wearing the same one. I had like a leather jacket and like a little short hair, but I think I was wearing that same dare shirt. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. But but yeah, I mean, that's like say that was the first time stepping out in drag, but it wasn't the first time you ever wore a flat wig. So and it won't be the last either. What was this girl about?
This was before the drag when you just put
this
on
post coming out of super gay but pre-drag.
I came out as super gay, but I wasn't doing drag. But I put on a wig because I drunkenly ordered one online and really was feeling myself. And everything is sexier in a wig.
Well, I don't know about everything. I don't know about everything.
I was just being creative.
But what got you like into drag specifically though? Like, how did that start?
let's see. Okay. I went and saw Gia Gunn and Laganja. And then I went back to the club again and I found the promoter or whatever. And I was like, how do I perform? Because I never had. I think I had done a theater class against my will. My parents forced me to sign up for it when I was in high school to bring me out of my shell. So I was kind of just like playing with this new thing and was like, I want to just see what it's like to perform. So she told me I could come in on a random Wednesday maybe. And so I made a big thing of it. I made posters. I invited all my friends.
Like your first show, you like making posters
I made a
flyers?
Facebook event.
You did more promoting than actual drag queens do for their
I got
shows.
like, and I got a lot of people there, like 150 people.
Oh my gosh.
And I made a bunch of money and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so good at this. So then the next time that they asked me to perform, it was like another amateur night, but I didn't tell anyone this time. I was like, I want to kind of like just see what it's like and see if like I'm actually good without all my friends being here to support me. And that night I made $1.
Oh.
And it was from the Shot Girl after my number.
She's like, you dropped this.
And she was like, I like that song. Like, I was like, oh, harsh. I was like, so I need to put some practice into this.
Yeah. The audience said, not interested. I'm not interested in this.
And so that's when I started doing Devion's Drag Race.
Oh, was that their like
It was
bar
like
competition?
a weekly bar competition, yeah. And then I ended up getting kicked out because of drama, because I'm dramatic, I guess.
Do you want to talk about that?
I don't really honestly remember what happened, except I remember exactly what happened.
Okay.
There was a Halloween show, and so I had like performed a Halloween classic scream number that every drag queen does, for Halloween. I did a scream number. They loved it. They said, come back for our Halloween show. We want you to do this scream number. So I was like, oh, well, I work this day, but I could come, what time is showtime? I think I can make it. So I go to work. It's Halloween, so I'm in full drag to go to this thing after. And then when I get there, she says, the show already started, so you can't come in. And then she made me pay to get into the club, and I didn't get to perform my number. And so then I was like, I'm not performing here anymore. And then I started my own thing.
I feel like you're skipping a step because you weren't like banned from there or anything like that. You just stopped going?
Well, then I was supposed to see, it was a weekly thing, and so I didn't go that week. But other girls didn't show up because they had work and stuff. So I just said, hey, I can't make it this week. And she was like, that's not how the competition works. And so then I was like, okay. So then I went to a club that was just like around the block, and I brought a USB with me just cause, and then I performed there, and then it got word around the street. It was like, Crystal performs at Touche now.
People were talking.
The
talk of the town. You missed like one night of a bar competition, and you're like, I'm doing my own thing. I don't need you guys.
I guess.
That is so dramatic.
I guess. Well, they were being mean to me in the group chat.
Oh, see, again, like there's details you're leaving out. I definitely feel like there's puzzle pieces.
Well, not being mean to me. They removed me from it, so I know they were being mean to me.
No, but you full on. You did go and make your own thing, which we'll talk about kind of the get dusted stuff here in a moment. But yeah, whenever you first started drag, was Crystal Methyd like the OG original name? Like,
yes.
Fresh out the gate?
Always. Well, I always knew I wanted to be Crystal because I was really into witch shows at the time.
The ethically sourced crystals.
Yes. And so I was like, Crystal's fun. And then my friend came up with Method, and then I changed the O to a Y to be more feminine.
That is very feminine. Whenever you started drag, obviously like you're just doing local shows, it doesn't matter as much. But in hindsight, does part of you like regret having a name like Crystal Methyd with, wanting to do like family friendly shows and, having like a brand with that name?
I think I have accepted that Disney's not going to work with me, and that's also okay. But I think I'm okay with it because especially at the time, like I of course want to do, I love kids. I've done stuff with kids, but I just go by Crystal in those scenarios, But I like the fact that it's edgy. I always liked it for the grunge and the dirty and.
Yeah, I feel like it's very appropriate too. Again, from the area we're from, like the Ozarks, like that's.
Well, it's like The house that was behind my house that I owned before I moved to LA, like caught on fire because of a meth lab, and they just tore it down.
Yeah.
You know, it's like literally in my backyard.
Yeah, the same like town I grew up in. Like there's like, it's too small for even to have crimes, but every now and then there'd be like a meth bust or something. But yeah, meth capital of the world, Missouri and Ozark Mountains.
Do you remember in COVID when they got really nasty at Lake of the Ozarks?
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, during COVID, everyone was still at the lake, and they were like, there's like
I
pictures
remember, like,
in
all the boats and everything. Everyone's like on their little boats,
and they're like in the pools, like so many people.
Arkansas lives by its own rules. They don't believe in any of that stuff, so they all just had a light cough afterwards, and you know, all their grandpas and grandmas died. But you know, that's just country living.
Absolutely.
But with your drag, like I said, you eventually started like the Get Dusted show, and I was gonna ask how that got started, but you said the initial start. It
started out of spite.
Out of spite, out of hatred. But like, what was your plan for this show? Like, what was your vision for it? Like, what were you wanting to do with this show?
Okay, my vision was for it to be more of like a New York City club kid vibe, and so.
Which, if anyone has seen the drag in Northwest Arkansas, Southern Missouri, you know this is New York club kid is so far from that.
Yeah, like so far it's like I had been to drag shows and stuff, but it never spoke to me in a way that made me want to be a part of it. And so I was like, I need to create this new thing. And so I think I had dated a guy at the time that kind of got me into the music scene. So I knew a couple promoters and things. So I just hit up a promoter and I was like, hey, I want to do an event. Let's talk about it. It was like a straight bar, rock bar, typically bands. So I knew that
the Outland.
At the Outland, I wanted a band to open before the drag show, and we would put the band in drag. How fun! And then because I didn't know many drag performers, it was very much like one night and one night only, and I would just put whoever wanted to perform in drag. So I used to have to do so much makeup on the day of the show.
Oh my gosh. I hate doing my own makeup. I can't imagine doing the makeup for an entire band, anyone else that wants to perform.
Yeah. So, but those were really fun because, you know,
it prepared you for that makeover challenge that you would someday lose.
I've done it on so many faces. But it's fun because, you know, it was done at a straight bar. So it was like people felt comfortable coming to a space that they'd been before, even though it was like gay night or whatever. And we even had like straight guys getting in drag and performing, and you know, people really got into it.
It was basically community service that you were doing. You were bridging the gap.
Yes.
Yeah. Like with the show, obviously starting a new show, you're just starting in drag. You haven't been doing it very long, and all of a sudden you're starting your own shows, your own theme. It's very different than everyone else is doing. You're doing it in straight venues. Was there any pushback you were receiving from like the Missouri drag community at that time?
Oh, absolutely. Especially when I started a brunch because we didn't have a drag brunch, and a friend I knew, you know, it's all about who you know. I knew someone that had started a business, a restaurant, and I was like, hey, would you ever do drag brunch? And they're like, sure, why not? Let's do it. So when it got word out that Crystal's doing drag brunch, well, why does she get to do drag brunch? Well, it's like, oh, because I just did it.
There is like a sense of jealousy in the local drag communities where they're like, well, why does she get to do that? It's like, well, she asked, she scheduled it, she booked it.
No,
she did it.
Yeah, literally, it's like, just go do it if you want to do it. And the main, like the only rule of my show, Get Dusted, of how to get booked was like, you have to just come and ask me. Because that's how I got booked my first time. I was like, I went to the show director and I asked. There aren't many drag queens. Come and ask and you're in.
Was there any like big spats or fights or dramas between you and the Springfield drag scene during your Get Dusted days?
Oh, there was one fight that comes to mind instantly. It was for a masquerade, and maybe it was a New Year's event. And we always did a promo video. And so in our video, we were like gathering each other and like running around town. And we had a little portion where we ran past Martha's, and we stopped and we were like, not here. And we like kept going. And so that did start drama, I remember.
Well, to be fair, you kind of started that one.
I did do that.
Yeah. I definitely agree that they're being too sensitive about you starting your own show, doing your own thing.
But yeah, it was just being like, no, not the normal place you go. It's
you're
this new place.
You're poking the bear. That's less of like, come to my show, and then more of like, don't go to their show.
Yeah. A little bit.
But like I said, your show was very different than the other drag shows that was happening. Well, what's like some of the craziest things that you did like as a show or like a little troupe?
Okay. Oh my gosh. I remember when MILF Money came out and we had the kiddie pool on stage and I got covered in milk and I had that wig smelling, a wig that smelled like milk for months and months. But it wasn't until like we had Get Dusted for a couple years and then that's when like the troupe, the Get Dusted girls started forming because Lux and Daya were both very show choir-y theater kids and they wanted to bring like a choreography element and sets and things, and so we started practicing, and I had never done choreography or anything, so that was all Daya.
It's crazy that Daya can move the way she does whenever she's like 6'5".
Yeah,
like she's like Gumby.
Well, she's such a presence on the stage.
Yeah,
she takes up a lot of room.
She does. It's actually not that impressive, but because she's so big, it's just our little monkey brains.
And her
like,
heels,
wow,
like it's
big,
like whoa,
big girl move lots, impressive. And the tall heels, yeah. She's just a walking gimmick.
But she was always like the crowd's favorite performer. Like she does have a presence. I think that's especially what got my drag to evolve so quickly is like surrounding myself with other drag queens and being like, oh, she looks good, I want to be better than her, or how did you do that? And learning and competing.
As you said, like Lux was like one of the first like Get Dusted girls to be in the party. Lux is someone that is on every like wish list for Drag Race. She has been. I think even before like Daya got on, I think Lux was always one of the ones that was like posted like the wish list. But she's like between you, Daya, everyone assumed she'd get on next, never did. Same thing with like Stephanie's Child, where everyone's waiting for Laguna, but she's not getting the call. Why do you think Drag Race does that? They get like 2 of like the girls on and then they cut it.
Well, insider tea is that Lux hasn't auditioned because
why?
She's not. She should be on because her character is fully formed. Yes, I know. But she's just like, I get it. She's young too. I think she's like 26 right now. And I didn't get on till I was 28. And I just know that I wouldn't want to watch myself on TV as a 22-year-old. Yeah. So I think it's good to just like have some life experience.
You don't have to watch
it's a high stress situation.
I suppose so.
But yeah, with the Get Dusted girls, the first time I met you guys, I had like heard about you. Like I'm all the way down in Arkansas. I hadn't traveled out to Missouri yet, but I heard about the Get Dusted girls. And when you guys came down to my home bar for like Halloween or something.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I wore the Freddy look.
Yeah, you were in the Freddy Krueger look. And I remember everyone talking about it because you're like the out of town, like the crazy, the party's here, they're coming by. And I remember I was like, I don't know what they're doing after this, but I'm going, whatever it is. And I linked up, and that's the first time I met you guys. Met you, Daya, and Lux, and ended up going to like some house party. And you were the one I followed on social media the most at that time. And with your drag and your character being so crazy, I thought you were going to be the most unhinged person, but you were like the only voice of reason, and everyone else was so drunk. And,
well,
like, just
I'm
zooted.
a bit older, so I'm the mother.
Yeah.
So I have to always make sure take care of everyone. I'm the one that's going to be driving.
It subverted my expectations. But yeah, I think I was wearing like a Dare shirt, like some leather jacket. I was maybe not even a year into doing drag. And yeah, so like at that little random house party in the middle of Arkansas was 3 future Rue girls.
I
know,
possibly
that's
4
crazy. When Lux put in her tape. But yeah, just like hanging out. And then you ended up being a judge for one of the competitions that I did in Little Rock, like the following year or so. Yeah, I was dressed in like mops. And
I loved it.
Stuff.
And the shoes were mop buckets.
Yeah, it was like a cut in half mop bucket, which at the time I was like, these turned out like garbage, but the vision is there. But I think, again, with your perspective, you're one of the only people that really appreciated it. I think everyone else is like, that's stupid.
No, you were mops and you were in a bucket. It was good.
Yeah, I had the giant like sponge cover up, and yeah, you get it. You saw the vision.
Yes, that's why I was there on that night.
Yeah, I felt seen. Yeah, because it was a dollar store club kid was the theme. That's why they booked you as a judge for that before you were even on Drag Race.
Which is so crazy that I got to do that.
Yeah, again, like as far away as you were making such a name for yourself with this show that, 5 hours away, some bar's like, we need someone for a club kid. I think I know someone.
The first time I went to Trinity, and I was like, there was like 8 people there that knew who I was. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so famous.
Big fish in a different little pond. But yeah, like traveling around, making a name for yourself, you eventually get the call, get on Drag Race. And you made it through the background check, despite the fact that you once committed armed robbery.
Oh my gosh.
At Papa Murphy's.
Papa Murphy's. This is my favorite job.
But if you think it wasn't for Drag Race, do you think you'd still be working at Papa Murphy's? You think that's where you'd be at right now?
Would I still be at Papa Murphy's?
Or you think you would have followed your dream to be like an elementary music teacher?
I don't know, because
I can't imagine you doing a day job.
yeah, well, if I didn't get on Drag Race, before Drag Race, I was doing marketing for a chain of entertainment centers.
Mm-hmm.
So like bowling alleys with like arcades, go-karts.
You make like posters and stuff?
Things like that. So yeah, I was mostly doing posters. And so I would probably, I guess, still be doing that.
Was that something you went to school for? Because I know you did like theater stuff in school. Were you going for marketing or theater?
Oh, see, I only did theater in high school.
I thought you created like costuming and stuff. I thought
Oh,
that was
see. Okay, so I did multimedia production. So we were learning how to do like TV, radio, like we did everything. So,
oh, okay. So you doing like costuming and stuff was almost more of like an elective and like one of the things you had to do?
No, for our big project, the class like made a web series. And so everyone had a different role. So obviously, like, everyone can't be a camera person, even though that's like what we're all trying to do. And so being the gay in the class, they go, oh, you can do the clothes. And so I said, fine. And so I did the clothes, but then I also had to like, it took place in, again, oh my gosh, this led to my life, an entertainment center where there was this big fluffy mascot, and I had to create the mascot outfit out of foam and things.
Was it something almost like in line with like this drag now, or was it a lot more simple? Was it very different back then?
It would have been much more simple because I wasn't familiar with like working with foam.
Okay.
In that way.
You weren't like getting crazy expressive.
I was just kind of doing it because the class thought I could do it, and I was like, didn't want to let them down.
Yeah, you're like, well, they profiled me, so now I got to give it my best. Give it the old college
and they knew I was crafty, so
they could smell it on you. Because again, you're the only kid in Missouri that wore pants that fit and slightly off-colored ties. So they're like, this guy is creative. This is our creative force.
But
right
it was like, it was called I can't remember something. It was very an unhinged plot. We got people like the Amish, because there was a scene where we needed a bunch of bunnies, so we had these people come and
like
bring
the actual Amish.
Yeah, like, or maybe they were Mennonite, but they came and they brought their bunnies that they were raising.
Are they even allowed to be on like film?
They weren't on camera. Just we rented the bunnies.
Oh, you rented the bunnies from the Amish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Your life is just you're doing like club kid stuff with like milking your hair in like a bar, and then at night and during the day you're renting bunnies from the Amish.
Yeah.
It sounds like ad libs. It sounds like you're lying to me.
It's so Missouri, you know.
It is very never mind. I take back what I said. That's very Missouri. Just they're all existing together, coexisting. Missouri really is the melting pot of the world. People say that.
I mean, that's how we created Chapel.
That's true, because she is from like Springfield, isn't she?
She's from Willard, which is like 20 minutes away.
Yeah, so basically Springfield.
But if she wanted to like perform, I'm sure she drove it to Springfield.
Yeah.
And do you know Jake Wesley Rogers? Elton John called him the new Elton John. Anyway, he's also from Springfield, and he played at my show a couple times too. So, talent.
Oh, you actually had like celebrities and stuff at the Get Dusted shows too. Like people that were celebrities, like are celebrities now that weren't
gay
even,
celebrities for sure.
Yeah, they weren't even like big, but have gotten bigger since then.
We had Cupcake.
We had Brooke Candy.
We had Plaque Bleg. Big Dipper.
You created Big Dipper
for sure.
Does Big Dipper know that? Make sure Big Dipper gives his credit where credit is due.
Yeah, but we used to try and bring a lot of like fun little queer music acts, and then eventually we ended up started bringing Rue Girls, but I think I only brought a few.
No, there was like a celebrity you scheduled, but they didn't show up for some reason. Corey Feldman.
That's what it was, because he was going on Oprah the next day.
Yeah,
he ditched us for Oprah because I have my finger on the pulse and I knew what was going on. I was like, we need him.
Was that before he dropped like the big bombshell about like the industry and stuff? That's so crazy. But had he not gone to Oprah, he would have been performing with his band at Get Dusted in Springfield.
Yeah, we had some unhinged guests. We had Ron Jeremy. He was like trying to do comedy.
Oh yeah, before he got all like crazy. Yeah, the hedgehog.
That was an experience. It went awful.
It went awful.
It went awful.
How so?
He barely performed, and then he was having sex in the dressing room. We needed to change.
Oh, he actually just he's like this character?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, well, I mean, good for him, question mark? Well, no, not good for him. That's a public space. That's a dressing room.
It's like you get what you get what you pay for.
Should have booked the Amish. A little more reliable. You know what to expect. But going to Drag Race, you make it all the way to the finale, almost win the show. And that's coming from Missouri, not a lot of resources. Like, did you expect to make it as far as you did? Or was that just like, holy shit? Like,
absolutely not. I was not doing drag full time. It was just like my escape, my fun thing that I love doing. So I went mainly just to showcase. Like, I thought, a couple fun things I can show. I knew I wanted to show my purple runway because I spent so many hours like hand stitching those little things.
Which one was the purple runway?
It was like a monster, Nick Cave inspired. Yeah. But yeah, so I didn't really have any expectation. I just knew that I wanted to show what I do, and I had no idea that I was going to make it far. I was very much feeling I was going to be going home instantly because, there was so many New York queens. They love to talk about being from New York, and you're like, oh my God, they have money.
Yeah, that was my experience. Everyone's like from LA or like New York, and I was like, what the fuck? Like everyone?
But, it's not about money. It's about the vision.
It's sometimes about money.
But it is. Sometimes the money does help.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's why I felt like when I saw Daya there, I was like, oh, I'm not alone here. And then all her garments are like crazy and extravagant. I'm like, oh, never mind. I forgot.
I helped her.
Yeah. Must be nice to have a family.
But it was honestly so fun. I would like to do Drag Race again just because it was fun to set up a workshop, in our house and just work from sunrise to sunset and just be creating stuff.
But since being on the show, like you've traveled the world, you've gone everywhere. Have you performed at Mickey's yet in WeHo?
I haven't performed at Mickey's, but
have you not been able to get booked because you left them a bad review in 2018?
Oh my gosh, did I? No, I did not. Is it because they overcharged me and it smelled like shit?
Yeah. They overcharged you because you were out of town, I think you said?
Yeah, and people told us before we went to Mickey's, they were like, do not let the door people rip you off. And it happened.
Yeah, like a year before you went to go film Drag Race.
Oh my gosh, I'm so hilarious. Yes, if you make me upset, I will leave a negative review. I left a negative review about, where did I go? Somewhere in Portland. I can't even remember the name of the place. But I just don't like it when people are rude first thing when you go in. Like, I'm paying you money and you're being rude to my face.
Yeah.
Hate that.
Yeah, no, good on you for standing up for yourself. But you really haven't performed there at all since Drag Race?
No, I think I go. I don't typically perform in LA only because it's like now my home. So I'm like, I travel all the time. So like when I'm home, I want to kind of be free, but I still go out in drag. Like that's something that.
Oh, you're still doing that? Like the bouncing around.
Yeah. It's important for me to creative refuel by going out in drag and not working and getting to leave whenever I want.
That makes sense. I was going to say, I was like, oh, you do not perform because you don't want to do, local rates, because some girls do that, but you do it for free.
Yeah, I just go for free. I just want to, hang out and have fun. It's just, because it's, I love being able to do one look. It's hard when you're traveling and you have to, do your meet and greet in 2 numbers and what, Whereas if I just go out in one look, I can really go in on my makeup, have a time.
That's kind of crazy. I think you might be one of the few Rue girls that still get in drag for free and go out, because even me, I feel burnt out, just because the fans and the way people are, and you go out, it's no longer just going and partying. Now is you have to be on almost, but you still just create looks to go out in.
I like that too, and sometimes I will try and be sneaky about it, and I'll incorporate a way to disguise myself a little bit, because even though I feel
it's the full Crystal makeup. And you have sunglasses.
I feel like I always look like Crystal, but if people are even just questioning who you are a little bit, I think it prevents them from coming over sometimes. So it's even though I think I look like Crystal, if I modify my face a bit, I think people just are like, oh, we don't know her. So it's still fun.
Everyone's clocking you, but they're she has something on her face. She probably doesn't want us to talk to her, but they 100% know it's you.
I prefer to go out in drag because it's I'm more likely to be able to skip the line or get
That's
in,
true, yeah.
or I can like push people out of my way. You know, I can just do whatever I want.
Yeah, I think might have been Meatball talked about this with, but if you're in drag, everything's legal. You can do
For
anything.
sure.
Yeah, you can get away with a lot more. You can shove people, fight people, break bottles over their head.
Yeah,
because it's just you're in drag. You know, it's your
it's
character.
the best.
It's your art. Who are they to tell you can't do your art? You know. Well, with that is the last bit of time we have and the last of my cards. But before you go, I did want to give you something to thank you for taking the time and coming in to see me today. As we mentioned before, you are a lover of all things flashy and accessories, so I wanted to get you an accessory for your home.
Oh my gosh, how sweet.
Yeah, this is nothing too crazy.
And what is it going to reveal?
This is a lovely gold pillow for your home with the members of One Direction.
Oh, R.I.P. Liam.
Yeah.
This is so cute.
Because for people that don't know, you are a huge One Direction fan.
Yes, I have actually a dress that looks very similar to this. It's made out of a One Direction blanket. And I got to see them in Madrid.
Madrid? Oh my gosh.
Isn't that
Why'd you go all the way over there?
I know. I studied abroad for a semester, and then my friend came like to visit me, and then we had like a little mini European backpacking thing. And she's like, oh, well, we have to go to Madrid because we knew a foreign exchange student that lived in Madrid that went to our high school. But that wasn't the real reason. It was part of the reason, but the real reason is she bought tickets to One Direction. Yeah,
so like we have to go to Madrid because we have a friend that can give us an Airbnb while we go see One Direction.
And it was crazy because the lines were like up and down the street, and we just didn't know where to go. Luckily, the girl in front of us, she was taking 2 young girls. Like she was babysitting them, and she spoke English, so she kind of took care of us too. And then apparently somewhere along the lines in the streets, people started lining up in the wrong line. So we just got lucky, and then hundreds of girls crying, walking past us because they were told they had to move and go get an actual line.
Oh.
And so then we ended up being pretty close.
We got lucky. Look at God.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, again, people probably already know this. You're a huge One Direction fan. You had the One Direction dress. You have the One Direction tattoo. Is it true you used to write fan fiction about One Direction?
I think I only wrote fan fiction maybe once or twice.
No, only once or twice?
Only once or twice, and it was probably about like Liam and Louis.
If I'm remembering correctly, it was Liam and it was someone that
you found it.
I didn't find the fan fiction. I found something about the fan fiction. It was Liam from One Direction and one of the Jonas Brothers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was like doing
crossover
different universes.
You were watching a lot of Disney at that time, so you're like, the crossover episodes are hot right now.
I'm quirky like that.
Yeah. Give the people what they really wanted, which was a crossover.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, so outside of doing drag for free in West Hollywood, where can people find you? Do you have any tours or anything coming up? Any shows that are happening?
I would love it if you would come see me at Murray and Peter Present a Drag Queen Christmas. It's their 10th year anniversary, and it's my 4th year on the tour, so I feel very honored. And so, yes, we're doing 38 cities in the U.S.
How many?
38 cities, and we only get like 6 days off, so I'm going to be spreading so much holiday cheer, and you can get your tickets at dragfans.com.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting for the fans, but that's a lot of drag.
It's a lot of drag, but my looks are really fun, and the merch that I'm selling is really fun too.
Is it Christmas merch or just Crystal merch?
It's technically I always try and find loopholes. So spoiler alert, I did a heat miser look. So there's like a lighter. There's some flame motifs. So it's not Christmas exactly, but
it's like Christmassy enough, and then you can go off.
But that flames you can wear year round, you know.
You should make a t-shirt that says ethically sourced crystal.
Genius. I love this.
Yeah.
I'll start selling dream jars.
Are all your usernames the same on social media and everything?
Crystal Methyd, everything. Instagram. I don't really use Twitter. I use TikTok, Venmo.
There it is. Yeah, I'm surprised you don't do like Twitch and things like that, because you used to make more videos and stream a little bit.
Okay, I want to get back into Twitch because I do love video games, but sometimes I just can't set all that stuff up.
Well, that's where they can find you, and you guys can find me right here. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any future guests. And join us next time whenever we have somebody else. And yeah, till then, bye guys.
And thank you again to Surfshark for sponsoring this episode. Make sure to go to surfshark.com/Maddy to get started today for 4 extra months free.
Let's go.
Boom, clap, sound in my heart, the beat goes on and on and on and on.